All right, guys, how are we doing today? Happy President's Day. So it is a federal holiday here in the United States. So traditional markets not really doing too much today. Obviously, the futures and options markets, that are global, obviously those are open, as well as Forex markets and stuff like that. Digital markets are obviously all open as well. But in terms of banks, mail, legacy stocks, stuff like that, not open today. So the traditional markets are not really going to be doing too much. So going to focus on Bitcoin, go through this really quickly, and then I will obviously get this replay of this stream up for you guys only. It'll be an unlisted video, and I'll post that link in the Discord for you guys. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. I haven't obviously looked at a chart in quite some time now. So it doesn't really look like the weekly has been doing too much. So we had this rejection off this overall range midline here, which wasn't a good thing. This was obvious a couple weeks ago when we got this gravestone doji here to close the week. That wasn't good, followed up by some pretty bearish price action here. So the price is attempting to bounce. I would like to see probably a retest of this line, but I think that in midterm, if we're not going to be closing above probably 42.5-ish, that's the weekly level that we need to be watching for here. So 42.5, very, very important level for us right now. Obviously, we're quite a ways off from that, sitting right now in the high 38. So there's room for this to move to the top side. Okay. In terms of the indicators here, this was looking good, but unfortunately, there just was not enough momentum here to be able to be pushing us higher. And I mentioned that last week. That's why I really thought once we started getting all of that bearish price action, I was like, you know what, even with the bullish volume here, our 2-line cross is down still in bearish territory. We're probably not going to get follow through unless we really start seeing some bullish volume, and we just didn't get that. So price could not end up pushing up higher, and we kind of just topped out at about 45. Let's head down to a daily chart real quick, and I'll go over this stuff with you. So it looks like right now, I haven't turned this red yet, and I don't think I'm going to, because let me actually just get this off my screen here. We don't need this right now. In terms of basic support and resistances here, I actually just took a look at one of the other members' charts that's posted in the VIP chat. Alex is in here right now. He's got pretty much the same level of support that I do. Okay. Those of you that have been trading long enough, or at least have watched my videos on support and resistance on the YouTube channel, you guys should be pretty well versed at labeling these levels now. It's just supply and demand, guys. So that being said, I haven't turned this red yet. And the reason why is because this candle's still open here for the day. We don't know if we're going to actually be closing a second bar in a row outside of this zone that I have. Okay. And I haven't moved these zones in a long time. Those of you that are a little newer, when I first drew these are just broken up, but these are the levels here. In case you guys don't know how I do these, I basically just copy and paste them and then move them over. So I don't have like huge bars all across the screen. Something like this, where I would just, do one of these, line it up, and just move it over. Okay. I'm actually probably going to do that with these two levels right now, because okay. Anyway, we don't have confirmation if this is breaking down yet. So I'm going to leave this green for now. Taking a look at our other indicators, just basic indicators for these higher time frames, guys. Okay. You guys know I'm well versed with other strategies and stuff. This is just my base of what I use on, 1 hour plus, and then pinpointing entries on lower time frames as other layouts and indicators. Anyway, obviously we've got, bearish cross. The MACD moved down into bearish territory here. RSI falling below 44. It's not that serious. Sometimes we do get throwovers and throw unders of these little ranges that I have, these dots here that I have on the RSI. I always leave these here. It's just kind of a good like no man's land area where either you're going to see a continuation or rejection, or the price is just really, really moving flat. So for instance, here we started getting a top. And then once it broke back down here, this was the short when it broke back down into bearish territory, things like that. Anyway, more increased bearish volume here, but honestly, it's really not that much. So that was a very, very little amount of bearish volume to be pushing the price down that far from 45 down to 37 here. So that's kind of worrisome for the bears, I would say. And I know that on Twitter, I had shown you guys that this was setting up to be a head and shoulders here. So this was invalidated on this candle here. Pretty obvious in terms of like basic rules for head and shoulders here. So this was our left shoulder. Any close that was going to be below this low at like 41.5-ish, which was this candle, that invalidates it. Okay. And certainly even if you included the wicks, I wouldn't have been comfortable staying in that long, because then your level of actual support has broken down as well. So this candle certainly would have been an exit. But by the time you're exiting that long that was underwater, now we're starting to bounce. So this can just be a higher low here. Nothing says that this drop isn't over yet. I would assume that it's probably not. This just looked like 3 waves up. This looks like another starting of 3 waves down. So we'll have to see what's going on here. This can, I hate to say it, but this can really go either way right now. I at this point, I'm just looking to see some kind of a higher low where maybe we retest our midline, or maybe we're just not even going to move down that far. And we just get this little throw over of the section here, come in for a bounce, maybe have one last fake out to make a five wave sequence here, find support, and then bounce. So that would be the bullish scenario. Okay. Is if we start seeing that bullish volume coming in. Now let's look for some mean reversion and see if we have any actual confluence with that. Let me bring up my volume chart here. This is one layout that I've been neglecting, which I shouldn't be, because this is a very important layout. And I did a lot better when I was using this every day. For those of you guys that are newer that don't know, this is just Heikin-Ashi candles with visible range, not the HD version, the regular version with point of control, and then volume standard deviations. This is the VWAP. So this is going to be daily session VWAP with the standard deviations. All the settings are on default. And then these are your order blocks over here, listing where the Monday high and lows are, the daily and weekly opens, all of those good, important levels. That's more of a legacy market thing. Anyway, we can tell here, especially how the Heikin-Ashi candles tends to smooth out the volume more, not to mention this is a much lower time frame. We've already looking like we touched our point of control that's on this daily session so far. Okay. I would really like to see us retesting highs for Monday. But that's not going to be happening unless we start closing above our point of control here at about 39.2. Okay. So seeing the SMI up here up in bullish territory is good. Seeing the bullish volume is good, but we're probably on these lower timeframes at least going to see some kind of pullback, to be sweeping that previous weekly low again. Now that we've regained that, I would expect kind of a retest to see if that's going to hold as support here, and then move up higher to be retesting Monday's highs, weekly opens and stuff like that. So all of these, are just dates as of yesterday. Okay. So pretty recent levels here, but that's kind of what I would expect in the very, very, very short term. So putting all of this together, now that we're getting some inside bar closes here on the lower time frames, we can come up to a 1 hour. Oops, wrong chart. We can come up to a 1 hour and kind of get a better idea for exactly where we're going to be going. It doesn't look like we swept this major level of support again, but we did test this and had a huge throw under. But this is really funky price action here. I kind of want to wait for this to settle. Normally you don't get huge volume bars that are that big, like that switch that quickly like this. Normally you see these nice smooth curves, This has been like really choppy here. So kind of glad I wasn't trading yesterday or this morning yet. I kind of want to give this some time to close here. We've got 15 minutes left for the 1 hour candle. It does look like the volume and momentum is starting to flip over. But when you've had such low volume throughout the weekend, it's this one's going to be rough. That would actually be funny if it printed like a little mini head and shoulders here and then reverse. But anyway, let's take a look at our Ichimoku Cloud real quick. Super bearish. What about the 4 hour? Oh my God. This candle is just so nasty here. That's such an ugly 4 hour candle. Not a great overnight candle right there. This is a solid buyback here with a 4 hour candle, but this really needs to see like a lot of follow through. Again, I'm not even really interested in trying to long this until we start seeing closes above like 39.3 right now. So depending on how this closes, this might actually be a short, but we'll have to keep our eye on the 1 hour time frame for that. Definitely just, another test and rejection of the 50 EMA here. Everything is still bearish on the Ichimoku Cloud. So any pop that we do see, that's more confluence there with the 4 hour Ichimoku. So basically closing above this level here would bring us into the cloud. And then that would probably make for an end to end where we touch the 200 moving average and wick up into the top of the cloud here. And then, that's when you'd be looking for a 200 EMA flip. That would be like the bullish scenario on the 4 hour for the Ichimoku Cloud. But that's a really hard call here, especially when you've got like nasty wicks to the top side. And all of that buying momentum was just absorbed by supply. So that's kind of a risky play here. Let's take this off. Let's see. Okay, so we do have a couple. These are naked points of control. Okay, points of control. This is just visible range here. Well, we swept this first one, which is good. I wonder why it reversed so hard and we didn't sweep at least this one. So the bearish scenario here, not being able to close above here on the lower time frames, would probably lead me to think that if we're putting in a pin bar here, this is probably going to not see very much. The upside is probably limited here, especially if there's no continued volume in this. And we would probably end up moving down or just seeing more volatility to be sweeping this naked point of control at 36.8. That would be like one of these on the MACD. So let's get a better picture with liquidation levels, shall we? Let's take a look at this. See what we have going on Binance real fast. And then I want to take a look at some order flow and like metrics and stuff. So where do we stand right now? Definitely liquidations below us to hit those levels. Where is this? 36.1. 36.9 almost, 850. So that's up here. Yeah, that's definitely possible. If we lose, if there's bearish momentum here, we could easily snag all of these 100x shorts in this immediate area here and be retesting these levels of 37, 37.7. Come down quick, grab this. And we get one of those really sharp W kind of reversals to see that mean reversal up to 42K. And then 42.5 up here. That's the area that we need to be watching to be closing above. If we want to see any kind of, bullish resolution of this overall price action here on these higher time frames, we have to be holding these levels. I don't doubt that we can come down and sweep these naked points of control here. That would be fine. But we would absolutely have to be putting in a higher low here with good bullish volume in order to be maybe kind of expecting some kind of an incoming trend reversal where we start breaking these highs and start testing up here in the 50s again. That would be probably the most bullish scenario that I could see happening in the next quarter or so. It could happen sooner than that, but I don't think that this is going to be the kind of thing that happens in just 1 week, especially after how far, overall that we've fallen here. Because if you measure this from open to close, basically, we've fallen a total of 47, almost 50%. That's quite a bit. So that being said, I'm not ready to, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not ready to make this a resistance box yet. Let's take a look at BitMEX and see. We just now swept almost all of the liquidity. There's one more long, or short rather, up here at 39,590. OBV looks like trash. Everybody is still screaming up. This is why I don't think that the bear market has really even begun yet, because this has just been cranked for the most part. Every time we get one green candle, this skyrockets. Let's take a look at some of these spot bids. 8.6 million, 1.8 sell, 2.4 buy, 4.3 buy. Those are just price fluctuations. Wow, very quiet. Literally nothing from the 8th all the way to the 20th until just yesterday, where there was some buys. So more buys than sells. That's good. And this OBV looks really bad, though. It's super, super choppy down here. This doesn't really look like accumulation yet to me. And that's what I think is probably the biggest problem with this kind of price action that I'm seeing. This isn't accumulation. Like, we haven't leveled off and formed a range, which is not good. That means that there's probably more downside to be had. I'll talk about more about that just in a second. Let's get a clearer picture, though, by actually looking at what the funding rates are first. So Bybit's flipping negative, while OKEX is flipping positive. That's kind of weird. FTX negative. Gate.io is flipping positive. So for the tokenized, Bybit's also flipping positive. These are all flipping positive down here. That's so weird. I think those funding rates have just got messed up by this super big volatility here. That's so weird. Anyway, let's take a look at our longs versus shorts. Let's see what's actually going on with the exchanges real fast. Take a look at this. All right, so in the last hour, let's see, even. BitMEX flipped long. Nobody really cares about BitMEX anymore. 49, 49, 46. So Bitfinex is definitely short here. The rest of these are mostly even. FTX is slightly short. Let's look at the last 4 hours. Long. Yeah, so that kind of looks like in the last hour, that kind of looks like people are definitely selling into this. I think that's kind of why we're getting a wick to the top side here. Even on these lower time frames, like our 1 hour, we're kind of putting in a pin bar here. So yeah, I think I think honestly, I might sit this one out. We formed a pretty good game plan for like what my overall expectations are of the price action that can play out in the next, month or two for the end of the quarter. But this right here, like today, this is not, I'm not really too interested in trading price action like this right now. The areas that I'm looking for, to be honest with you guys, because I don't want to over trade anymore. That's something that I fell victim to a lot. And I need to kind of dial it back, and I just need to be actually need to be watching this. Okay. So these are basically the two levels that I'm looking at. A close above, what is this at? Call it 39.3. Okay. a close above 39.3, and that's I would be looking to be accumulating in here. Okay, and be catching any dips for more potential top side, so we can start testing these areas at 40K. A close below here, below this line, which I guess is, where is this? 38, so 38,165 basically. A close below here, like if this rejects, that's when I'm going to start laddering shorts in here. This is a really good telling wick right here, because you know that it's running into supply and that it's putting in lower highs, which is nice. So now you have a very clear defined area on both sides for either taking a long or taking a short here. But this is a pretty tough call because of the volatility with these really large candles and how fast the volume has been switching back and forth. It's, I mean, I don't want to call it manipulation at this point, but it's because it's all derivatives volume. Okay. And we know that. We can see that here. Okay. This is all cumulative liquidation. Okay. So it's a lot, like billions and billions and billions. So it's all derivatives volume. That's why it's getting so volatile down here. And as I mentioned, this does not look to me yet like it would be an area of consolidation here. Now, if we wanted to just, I don't know, maybe we could try to define an area. So like that would be your upper range. This would be your lower range. But I don't really like that, because this was just like chop and like low volume in here. So I don't know. I don't really like that yet. In the immediate area, these are the two levels that I'm looking at. So 38,165 and what was this? 39.3. Okay. So close above there, we're bullish. Close below here, we're bearish. I do have a video for the members that's in the Discord about strategies for quote unquote straddling the market. I know that's like an options term, but that's basically what I would be doing here. So like on one account, I would be trying to play the short side of this. And then on the other account, if I wanted to right now, I could like pop into a long, have 3 ladders, a stop below here, this one being a 50% position, this one being 25, this one being 25. So my average entry is like here. And that would basically give me a setup like this. Okay. And I would be expecting to like retest these highs. So about a 4-to-1, 3, at least a 3-to-1 trade, at least testing here. But if you enter here right now, obviously your average entry is going to be much higher. So you'd have to wait for this to come back to you, and just look at, where those candles are closing, so that you can get, a decent averaged entry. But if I was planning for an average entry here, around like 30, even call it 38K, still about a 3-to-1 trade. So, and then for the short side, it's literally the exact opposite. Okay. So if we broke down, let me delete that. If we broke down, you would basically be looking for, this would be your invalidation up here. And then you'd be looking to enter a short here, here now, if possible, whatever. So you could short, have like maybe 2 entries there. And then your risk to reward ratio would look something like that. And you would definitely be expecting lower lows off of this. Okay. So again, at least a 3-to-1 trade. So that's kind of like the setup right now. You could take both of those positions on, one account, and then take the short on the other, which I actually might do right now. I think I might actually short this. Do I have open positions? No, I don't. Okay. Yeah. I do have one open position. So the bot is already short here. And I'm all right with that. So my algo, the Venom algo, the high risk, high reward one, is already short here on this, on my FTX account, at least. It probably is on the other accounts too. So on a sub account, I actually took some profits off of this account. So I'm actually going to take a little bit of a short here. Let's see. Well, you know what? I want to split it up more. So we'll do a market short here. Whoa. Yeah, I'm not paying attention. Sorry about that. Let's see. Take 139.3. I kind of want to double short this because this is going to have a way tighter invalidation than whatever the bot is doing. Okay. So then what I can do later on is I can just create a separate, like a whole nother sub account, transfer some funds into it, and then take the long as well if I wanted to. But for right now, this has a super tight invalidation. This is meant more to be like more of a scalp trade. This is meant to be like an intraday trade. Smaller position here. I want to see if I can play off a little bit of the volatility, but I don't want to be, giving up too much. So let me actually post this in the group for you guys. Okay, got that posted. All right, so I'm going to let this run, and we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, let's go back here. And I don't think that there's going to be, let me look at the open interest for futures. Okay. Rate 100%. 4-hour change, 24-hour change. Okay, Bybit's going down. BitMEX is down. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to let that short run. That's meant to be an intraday trade. Again, so because I'm not comfortable getting into a long right up here because this is literally resistance right here. So I'm not really looking to get into a long right here at resistance. If anything, that's why I've got shorts laddered up here. This is the little resistance area. Okay. And you can take a little box like this. Okay. This is your little resistance area. And then you've got your support area down here. Smaller support area though. Okay, so yeah, not trying to really long into this. Again, if we do close above here though, then yes, that's when I will be looking to be buying dips and stuff and be looking at retests of here, or, you know, if there's a midline in here, which it looks like there might be. It looks like this might be a level of interest here. Okay, so we'll have to see, but buying right up here at resistance, that's not something that I'm interested in doing, especially with price action that looks like this. That looks terrible. To me, even, you know, like more solid, steady moves to the downside and grinding downwards like this is even healthier price action than a move like this in the last, you know, few hours overnight. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it. So I will be basically assuming that we're going to start mean reversing back down to, on the 15-minute at least, to the VWAP, and then probably sweeping weekly lows and the lows for the day as well before moving on. That's also confluent with a lot of the liquidations that we have down here as well. Anything that we start climbing below like 38.5, and that's when we start grabbing more of this liquidity to the downside. And that's why I want to have a stop super close, because once we start getting above here, above these highs, like 39.4-ish, that's when there's quite a bit of liquidity up here that can get swept rather easily. So I want to be protected from any kind of volatile price action like that, and just kind of stick with the short side, because there's a ton of these big 100x longs down here. I don't think that the price action is going to keep moving forward without grabbing some more of this liquidity before another move to the top side. We can move higher, but I think this needs to take some liquidity first out of the market before it does so. Anyway, that's about it, guys. So later on today, I do have an appointment that I have to go to. I also have a meeting at noon. So I'm going to call the live stream and get this up for you. And then I'll provide that. It's going to be an unlisted video since just for you guys, if you guys want to rewatch it. And I will get that link up in the VIP chat for you guys in about probably an hour. So appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for all the love and support, and happy trading.